Hello, I am Matthew with Mellow Blue Hair Products, and in this video I'm going to talk about barbershop etiquette. So this is basically like how you act in barbershops and how to have the most success. I always say like the most important thing is to get a good haircut, and that's like the main priority, I would say. So I think it's important to prioritize that. I'm just going to say that from the start. And these are the tips I feel like will give you the best haircut and have the best overall experience. And it'll leave you feeling more confident and happy and things like that. So basically, like, how do I even know this stuff? I'm not a barber, but I've been to tons of barbershops. I go to a different barbershop every 2 weeks to talk about my products. I sell hair sponges and my hairspray. And there's some things that I definitely learned to get the best hair or haircut every time, and it's through pure trial and error. So I'm basically just sharing my experiences with you guys. And yeah, this stuff's pretty cool actually. And I started like basically as anybody. I was consistently getting bad haircuts. I felt even kind of anxious about going to the barber shop, you know. And now I just feel extremely comfortable going and having a good experience every time. So definitely follow, check out these tips if you guys have questionable experiences or you have situations. I cover like every subject in this. So we'll get started with how to get the best haircut. I think the biggest thing is having your requirements ready. And this article is online if you guys want to check it out. Just click the link in the description. This is the article here. But yeah, have your requirements ready. So basically, by this, I mean like I learned how to give requirements from one of my great mentors. I work in the internet marketing field, and he taught me how to give requirements to like designers and developers to produce the best, product. So basically, it's the same thing with hair. You basically just want to give them leeway, but you want to be specific on very critical things. So for me, I always mention, I'll be like, hey, like, please, like, and I always say, please do not bring my hairline back, because a lot of barbers typically will know how big the hairline is, and they will take the liberty to move your hairline back in order to achieve a sharper hairline. So I tell them, do not bring my hairline back. And if I've had a barber be like, well, it might not be as sharp, that's okay. Like, I do not want a bigger forehead. My forehead is already kind of getting there. So like when I move my hair back just a little bit, it shines. So I'm very critical with that. And I also tell barbers, do not bring my chops down. I like the natural alignment of my chops on my beard. So like some barbers would take the liberty to kind of like, let me see, to kind of line it like this. I don't like it when it looks like that. I like just the natural chop look. I think it looks better on my beard. I wish I had a full beard so I could show you guys, um, but yeah, I'm very specific about these things. But yeah, just have a read through this part of the article if you have any questions on that. But basically, you want to be very specific about how you want to look, and when you present this the correct way, you will have a much higher chance of getting a better haircut rather than just walking in and being like, "Oh, can I just get a haircut? I just wanted this length." Like, I'm very specific with what I want in my haircut. Like, I want it, like I said, with the beard, with the neck part too, and the hair. The hair length I don't really care about, but that might be a big thing for you. And then again, I'm very specific. I do not want my hairline pushed back. And again, once I started doing this, I started getting better haircuts every time. It doesn't even matter who I go to, it works every time. And the other tip I have is silence is golden. So people in general typically focus better when they're not talking or they're not distracted. It's the same thing with barbers. So with barbers, I typically will not say anything unless they ask me something. In general, I'll be very polite before and after, but during the haircut process, I typically will not say anything. Now, if they do talk, that's fine. I respond, and I find that most barbers that are very talkative are pretty good at cutting hair even while talking. So, if they do start talking, that's fine. But I typically will not talk and just let them focus. And I've noticed like when I do that, I get better results most of the time. So how do you act socially in barbershops? Um, so like yeah, I've been anxious about this at times. And what I find is that nobody really cares, and that barbers will typically talk to other barbers. You don't have to feel like you're excluded or anything. You just have to consider the fact that these are their coworkers and they see them all the time. So, they're much more comfortable talking to them and yada, yada, yada. Again, like I typically try not to talk because, like, again, I prioritize getting a good haircut over everything else. When you get a bad haircut, you have like a bad 2 weeks. If you get a good haircut, you have a good 2 weeks. That's like that's pretty straightforward to me. So how do you act in barbershops? Again, doesn't really matter. I throw some really great tips in here, and I'm very specific. I talk about a weird experience I had. What my most weird experience, which I would go ahead and share, like the weirdest experience I had, and both of them are very my top two. And if you want to read the article, it's like the other one's very similar. But my weirdest experience was I went to one barber, and he was the only guy in the shop. And for like an hour and like I kid you not, like 15 minutes, this guy would not stop talking about Rastafari and the Illuminati and like the end of the world, and it was like the weirdest subject. And he would not let me get a single word in. Like he would literally not stop talking. Like it was like non-stop talking for like an hour and 15 minutes, and I was just like, oh my gosh, can I get out of here? It was so weird. I felt weird like the next 2 days. I was like, that was so bizarre. So yeah, if you have a barber that makes you feel weird, don't go to that barber. Go to another barber. There's so many barbers in this world. Like, go to another barber. What I learned business wise. So like, um, yeah, like business wise, most barbers aren't trying to buy anything, but they'll give you really good tips. And barbers typically know a lot of people. Like they'll probably know some barbers know famous people. I had a guy that used to cut like some famous actors' hair, and he was telling me about him. So like some barbers definitely know people. So like if you're in the business world or whatever, like you can probably meet some really good connections by just asking. So yeah, like most barbers know a lot of people, and they're willing, and they know a lot about hair. So I'm in the hair business, so it's easy for me to talk about my business, and they've given me a lot of really good tips as to like what products to sell and like how to have better hair. So yeah, like if you do talk to barbers, those are good subjects to talk about that are typically very safe business, because a lot of barbers are typically like entrepreneurs in a way. So yeah, tipping. So tipping, I typically find that if you just give a barber a 5, it goes a long way. Do not tip. If you don't tip, you're a sorry individual. I tip whether the barber does well or not. I just tip just out of common courtesy. It just rubs people the right way. So like, I learned that from being a waiter. When I was a waiter and I got no tip, it was like they were the worst person in the world. If someone gave me $5, it wasn't great, but like I didn't think negatively of them. Not getting a tip is the worst case scenario. You can give them 10. I just think personally 10 is too much. Unless you just make a lot of money, 10 is probably just like too much. But 10 is they will appreciate it. But again, 5. I've had barbers be very grateful for $5. So I think that's a solid amount. Walk-ins versus scheduling. Typically, if you don't know, like a walk-in is when you just like walk in without scheduling, basically. And barbers like scheduling more. I think it just allows them to like organize their day a little bit better. They probably make more because like their schedule's a little bit tighter, and when they deal with actual clients, typically clients will pay more, so they like scheduling. But for me, I prefer to walk in. I noticed that there's not really much of a time distance in wait. Like I've scheduled and then had to wait, and then I've walked in and had to wait. So I just walk in because it's just easier to deal with my schedule. Like I can just when I feel like taking a break and going to get a haircut, I just go. It's just typical with my schedule. And when I give the right requirements, it doesn't really matter how good the barber is. So, and again, guys, it's hard for me to really like if the requirements part is confusing, please check out the article. There's a link in the description. Um, but like, yeah, the requirements are key. And like I said, if you just give the right requirements and then let them focus, you'll get a good haircut like 95% of the time. Um, and again, it's happened. And I say 95 because one guy cut like a weird C in my hair one time, and that's he did mention it during the process. I just didn't know what he was talking about. But yeah, like if you just give the requirements, like pretty much every barber knows how to cut hair like better than you. Like if you don't cut hair. So yeah, girl barbers. Yeah, let's talk about girl barbers. I think girl barbers are better than guy barbers in general. I don't know if it's like the chip on the shoulder thing, but in most predominantly male barbershops, the girl barber's typically very good. And I think women know more about hair than men, and then also like women typically know what a good-looking guy looks like more so than a man. Just kind of like a guy can probably tell what a good-looking girl is more than another girl. So yeah, like that's just typical things, you know. Again, I'm not here to discuss heteronormativity or whatever, but yeah, that's just what I found. So in conclusion, barbershops are a great place. You know, you can definitely meet some really cool people. Again, like don't worry about how you are socially. I also think my last tip, yeah, it's dress well when you go because you'll feel more confident and they'll respect you more. I definitely noticed that. So definitely dress well when you go. Like show them that respect and they'll give it back to you. And again, requirements are key. Let them focus. How do you act in barbershops? Like it doesn't really matter. Again, prioritize getting a good haircut over everything and you'll be okay. Because if you have a great social experience but a bad haircut, it's just like it doesn't like justify. So I prioritize getting a good haircut. And again, that's done by just giving the right requirements and letting them focus. So that's it for this video. And again, like, yeah, like, are some barbers better than others? Sure. But again, like, I have gone to like tons of barbers, and I promise you, if you just give the right requirements, you'll get a good haircut. Like, it doesn't even matter who's cutting your hair. Like, seriously. And some are better and they'll do like a slightly better job. But like, in general, this is just what I found. So, yeah. If you guys have any questions, feel free to leave a comment or reach out, contact us at mellowblue.com. Be sure to check out our products. We have some cool hair products to add even more spice to your hair. I'm actually about to do that in a second on my way to Walmart. But yeah, check out our products, mellowblue.com. We got the hair sponge. This goes great with a haircut. Thank you guys for watching. This is Matthew with Mellow Blue. Take care. Peace out.